that's it.
Holy cow, your entire city is just, oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. Trying to get anywhere, I'm just like, yeah, it's that season, isn't it?
It'll be nice when it's done, but
Yeah,
Jason won't be here today. Do I have to run the meeting or can somebody else do it?
are you the vice?
Yeah,
Then yeah, it's you, buddy.
what if I don't want to?
No,
Then I can delegate it to Amanda.
you have to. I don't think there's a choice.
We have an attorney here.
depends on your rules of order.
Friend.
You have those?
We have them.
Oh, yeah, Amanda.
Can you get a copy of those?
Sure.
If Jason's in here, do I have to do the meeting?
You are the advice, so that would be you.
I understand that. That was my question.
Right.
Do I have to? I just don't want to.
If you
I
don't want-
just don't want to.
I guess you could probably vote by the majority of the time that's here and.
There's really not that much on the agenda. There's nothing scary on it.
It's a simple one.
That's because you don't know what I'm bringing up. I'm just.
Uh-oh.
I'm teasing.
Is it just plausible deniability? And I wasn't part of that, wasn't me. If you pawn it off, you have to say prayer and the pledge of allegiance.
All right,
Someone can.
I'll do it twice.
Grab a pen.
Wait for them to enter, just get started.
No, do you have to wait for one more person?
I don't think the repeating for the actual business. You don't have to.
I'm Matt Wilson. Amanda's gonna meet you. I figured I'd just come and hang out, cause I had nothing better to do tonight, so.
That's great.
That's how
That's why
it
we're, yeah, that's why we're here.
Tell me all has to.
Like, this is the most.
There's nothing on
entertaining thing we
TV
have.
right now. So.
Yeah.
Well, we can start really quick. Either one of you two want to volunteer for the reverence or the pledge?
I will say the prayer.
You don't want me to say it?
You want to say it? I thought we
I'm
talked about
I'm
this.
kind of an
before.
agnostic. It'd be
That's-
interesting reference. to
You want to
the-
get up there and do a rain dance? and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know.
Don't say
So
you
I
have
have
to.
to. I have to do this again.
I will, you can always ask. I'm not offended by that, but if you'd like, I'll do the pledge.
Moment of reverence.
You okay to do the pledge?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll do that for you, buddy.
All right. So the first thing on the agenda tonight is the Agnes Farm subdivision. Is this the one that's taken a little spinal piece of the city property on 5900?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's Brent Zog's farm.
That was that little corner piece, huh? That they brought in a while ago.
Yeah.
it was like where the
The pump station.
pump station is, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, with that, I'm just pulling it up since you brought it up. Not pretty around.
Let's try to look at that ordinance again.
I'm old and
My phone.
blind, so it's much easier for me.
Anti-technology, I guess. I don't need to be, but apparently I am.
Yeah, here's that parcel. Right there. Here's a pump station.
Yeah, it's that itty little bitty piece right there.
Yeah. So UDOT has requirements, I think it's 660, I don't remember. The distance between intersections, 660 feet maybe.
660 for UDOT and 800 for Hooper City.
So UDOT,
Is that a UDOT road?
yeah,
Between the
59.
west is.
so there's a conflict with one of these, this one or that one, I think that one up there. So we couldn't stub one into the center because of this. So they have to line it up with this intersection here.
And that'll be 800. Or
It will, intersection and give them UDOT's requirement, but I doubt it gives
Not
them.
for cities.
I don't know, let me check that.
So so the road in here is labeled as 5675, and that road was labeled as 5700.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I don't know why they'd call it a half out there. Let me measure that real quick though, center to center, from there.
Regardless.
It'll be 662 feet.
662?
Yeah.
Like, it was-
Yeah, I think in some ways though, I understand that one at the upper ordinance, but we already don't, if that makes sense with existing. Cause all they're doing is, you know what I mean? I understand that could exacerbate the amount of traffic here by a little bit, but we're already not at 800 on that.
But going forward, any of our new should enter to our ordinance, right?
Yeah, it should.
It's B2 is, but I think we can.
That's my only.
That's pretty
concern.
rough. That's pretty rough. Obviously, I just pulled that, you know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's calling out.
But we know it's not 800.
Yeah.
Cause if you look at, hang on. So I wanna know where that road's gonna stub in. It's just that parcel, right, with that house in the front? It's not both of these parcels?
Just that parcel, but the road is gonna stub in line with this one. And they're gonna,
So is this lot on here, lot 15, already existing, or are they tearing that house down?
they're tearing the house down.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
house will go.
So you're saying between 5,700 and 5,600 already, if you don't have 800 on those, on the roads that already exist there? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, they're not already. But, I mean, I don't know when, you know, that's a long time ago when those went in, so.
My thoughts would be if, I mean, it makes sense where we've already got roads there. But if the ordinance says we have to have 800, I don't, unless we update the ordinance and say. In instances where the road is already existing, or however we feel we would want to make that recommendation to the council. But as it is, I don't feel like we can approve something that doesn't comply with what our ordinance is. If it's new, it's not grandfathered in because it's not there yet.
Pull up our ordinance real quick. Well,
Stations, they have long names.
Is Sheldon the only other one coming tonight? Okay.
Well, I don't know about Gene, actually.
Do you know Jane? Just waiting on Sheldon. Just Sheldon, okay.
looks like in our roads, streets and road, streets, and driveways. It's probably the one you're referring to. Proposed new intersections along one side of an existing street. Wherever practical. Or shall, wherever practical, coincide with any intersections on the opposite side of the street. Street jogs with center line offsets of less than 100 feet to 150 feet should not be permitted. Where streets intersect major roads, their alignment shall be continuous. Intersections of major roads or streets shall be at least 800 feet apart.
And that's the other thing, because now you're taking in, you just one road feeding into that, you're gonna have two roads feeding into that. And so that 800, I'm assuming the reason that was put in there was for safety reasons, possibly.
Yeah, proposed new intersections along one side of an existing street. Wherever practical. Or shall wherever practical side of any intersection on the opposite side of the street. So I feel like that part of the ordinance is being met, right? That first line. That we're gonna coincide and with any existing roads, that's definitely being met. The question would just be where street intersection major streets. Their alignment shall be continuous. Intersection of major roads, streets shall be at least 800 feet apart. So that'd kind of be the question, I guess, we have 660 with some existing roads, right? And we're making sure that they're met, and UDOT will be okay with it. But it would be, right, are we kind of tied by our own ordinance there, or?
And there was the exception right below it where it said that city council can grant an exception
Where's that at?
Red
When
wall.
circumstance
Oh.
peculiar.
Or square foot is the best interest of match wind. By the city council.
So this is something where, like, my concern goes back to what I emailed you about yesterday. Now we've moved into that review cycle process, or, yeah, where we're limited, like that time is ticking. Do we have enough time? My understanding is city council has canceled their meeting for next week, like,
They canceled it.
yeah. So if we have to have them grant an exception on this, are we gonna be able to get that done and still meet the final approval deadline? Because we can't approve it as is without that, if we're gonna abide by our ordinance, right?
Is it, just wondering, do you have major roads or streets defined, or what's major road or street?
It's.
Yeah, that'd be major.
State road is-
Okay,
And it's gonna get busier, I think, because of the construction of.
So I
177.
just pulled that up on the Google Earth. About 205 meters, so about 656 feet between those two roads, center to center, about 650. So they're already not 800.
They aren't,
Does it matter where one of the intersections and the other one's on the opposite side of the road? Is that where this new one is tying into? Does that make sense?
well, now
Yeah.
you're gonna have a four-way
Instead of just the
instead of
three-way.
just the three-way, so now you're gonna be adding another group of cars coming in on 5900, which is already a busy road. So I can see there being a safety concern if we don't get that figured out, just that road's gonna get busier.
Well,
When you've
where
got the
the-
high school coming in, I know it's down the road, but I think you have to take all of that into consideration, there's gonna be that much more traffic on it.
Where that road's already existing though, they're not really creating a new road. They're just extending it through on the other side of 5900.
Yeah, it seems like everything's met, right? We even have this odd deal here where we're saying streets of less than 150 shall not be permitted, which obviously makes sense, but except for this last line.
Yeah.
Everything else is met, we're even aligning. So the question would just be then is, yeah, we would be,
Cause I don't,
less than 800 on a major, but we already have.
Well,
We'd be
I don't think we're
intersection.
creating an intersection, cause the
Uh,
intersection's already
You're
there.
just
We're
adding more
to it.
cars feeding into it. And, I mean, I think if the council feels like that's okay, I don't necessarily have a problem with it.
Sure, we
It's
could
just
take it to the
They're
council.
gonna have to grant
They
an
have to
exception.
approve this one anyway,
Yeah.
'cause this is more than this is more than just on our table. Hi, buddy.
How so?
Isn't it?
I don't think so. I think that.
Is
we're
this
the
one
final.
that, we're the final say on?
Mhm.
And you guys, you go land use on this? Well, Matt, you feel, can you let us know? I mean, you don't need to let us know this instance, but can you review this and let us know if that needs to go to city council for the exception?
Yeah.
Or if the exception's already inherent in the intersection or?
I think where the intersection's there, like if you do one here, then I think if you were to do another one up there, that would need the approval of city council, but I don't know that necessarily this one would,
Where we're just crossing the road onto
yeah,
5700.
but if, yeah. That's interesting.
I wanna make sure that those roads line up, where this one's labeled as 5625 and that's 5700.
It's labeled that way after it
Jogs
jogs
a little.
So where it intersects 59, it's on the map or on their plat, it shows 5700.
Matt, why do you feel like what you said, if the intersection's here, which is where the step is versus there, why would this not need the exception in that?
Well, I'm saying if you add one in here now, then that one will be within 800 feet of that, and so.
You're saying,
I just think, yeah, I mean, one, I think the intent there is, I was trying to pull the code up here, but I think your intent is to not create new intersections.
sure,
But what's that? It was 10A or 10. Where was it?
It's
like
just a
it's-
health hearing.
Yeah.
it's like it's
So-
10,
Like, we're not deciding. anything,
10-6A-11.
Concern is if we do need to get an exception from city council, we've already moved into that review cycle phase, and so the time is ticking. We only have so much time
Right.
before we can tell them no or yes, and so.
Can we tell them no unless they get an exception?
I was gonna say, you can also do an approval contingent. You could do no or approve
Can we?
contingent upon that.
Can we do that now with the new legislation, like at the end of it? I didn't
Yeah,
think we
and
could.
then you
Okay,
can, yes.
awesome.
And then the city council could also do an email vote that is just They affirm it in their next meeting,
Okay.
so.
I would assume we'll have time to get it for city council before you guys see it, so you could just make a clean run, but that's just an assumption, I don't know, it'll depend. We are almost done with the first review. Should be the Monday, anyway. And then, they'll respond, but it's pretty substantial changes, I don't think it'll be a quick response, and then we'll obviously have another 20 from there, so. Anyway,
So I think the legislation, if we do it here, who's responsible for following their bylaws? We should, they don't come before our body.
Right. Yeah, it would just be staff.
okay,
Hello,
well,
sir.
and you can talk
Yeah.
after, make sure we're familiar.
Yeah.
And comfortable with it. Anyways, other than that, Brad, you good if I give a little bit of background on it?
Yep.
Okay. So there won't be any rezone requirements for that one. It's just going R2 for what it's zoned for. One note though, initially the discussion with the city council was that they wanted to know if there'd be interest in, or at least the option to purchase some property from the council or from the city right here, make that road come in on our, this is our pump station map. So they need to purchase that to bring their road in.
Yeah, and then it's gonna curve.
But staff, when we looked it over and talking with Jared, we thought that was odd to have us sell them real property and then have it given back to us as a road, right? So we thought a smoother and easier and better situation would be if we just had this, if we were on the plat or something like that, like we were signatory on the plat. This became our property, but it was, you know, became, instead of real property, became right away road frontage. And then the trade-off in the staff's opinion that would make sense is there's some improvements here that would benefit the city that I think could kind of make up for the real cost. One, you'll see they're gonna stub in an access here with a gate to get in and access, and then potentially frontage improvements here, sidewalk, curb and gutter, just so this is seamless with that.
That's a pump house, right?
It is.
And that is the development covering the cost of those improvements?
That would be the proposal to them would be, hey, we'll have a few improvements here on our station that are, you know, relative to your subdivision, and then there won't be a trade of property and get given back. It'll just be a, you know,
So is there any concern with if they stub that 5,700 through, like the setbacks from the pump house to that new road? Because that looks pretty tight.
they went out and checked and they thought they had met them. I'll double check though. These are the things that are, you know, it's good to follow up
How
on.
big does it leave that lot being and you take that off of it?
That's new road. Lot size. We'll check into both of those. This lot's already odd. At 0.3.
Is the other parcel behind it? City owned thing?
This.
Oh, so I wonder why are we separating?
Games.
Are you talking the one behind the pump house?
Might be.
I just wonder if they originally had the correct lot size by having those two together, or if they can be considered one.
Well, yeah, because like, and look on their plot map, like 5,700 stubs in, and then where it turns to 5875 west, that's kind of a weird corner piece from that plat in there. So what are we doing with that little piece?
I think they're trying to,
Yeah, it looks like for some reason those were divided, but initially, one's 0.15 and one's 0.3, so it was probably close to that. So yeah, that rear is the Hooper cities as well.
And I guess the other question is, does Hooper City pump houses have to conform to lot sizes and dimensions of the normal lots do?
all the citizens not doing that.
Exactly. Well, I mean, people live there, you know what I mean, so.
It was vast for sure. Yeah, the uses has changed.
Cause I mean, think of the pump house on Rosslyn Range, is that full lot size? I don't think so.
It's pretty small.
So we probably have to worry about that stuff.
Probably not, but that's a good thought, something to make sure we look into. But I can look into that for sure and get back to you guys. Beyond that. Yeah, that should pretty much be it. I guess it's the first review, so that'll be done and then we'll respond with, well, it'll pretty early in the cycle. Typically, they've got at least 3 reviews, sometimes all the way to the 4th review.
So a couple of things. I mentioned this to Malcolm yesterday, in our new subdivision approval process. We have a set of requirements that have to be met in order for that application to be considered complete. And that's when that time starts ticking, that moves into the review process. So I asked Malcolm to send me any information that we had, and in our ordinance, I think it's 10.8.12 F4E, if I'm looking at it right. I don't know, because I'm trying to do it on my phone, but it specifically says that we have to have final serve letters, not will serve letters, from the different entities providing like the water, the electric, whatever. The letter that we have in there from Hooper Irrigation is just a will serve. And I know we've talked about the issue of how we're gonna navigate that, but that is currently how our ordinance reads, that we're not supposed to have a complete application until we have final letters.
Do some of those entities even give final letters though?
We all give a final, but ran through different processes and yeah, the problem with it's been since we've adopted the new process, and I understand the intent of the planning commission that we're gonna review something and have the potential to approve it immediately. We wanna make sure we have finals in place so it makes sense. The problem with that was with the first couple we did, one was a minor and one was a full size subdivision. None of them could really get, well, they could get finals, I suppose, but on something that we've never seen. So it was kind of counterintuitive to get a final, go through a review process that changed it a fair amount and then, needed it. And the final was based on that. So the way we handled it last time was we started the reviews as preliminary. And then we got finals prior to you guys voting on it.
So again, I think.
So, and the way we handled that was we made sure they knew, like on the checklist, well, I informed them, use isn't complete, but the reviews are beginning.
Do you think we could maybe, if that's how we're gonna do this, because I understand that can kind of create a hassle for them on the Hooper irrigation side. They don't want to really turn in those water shares and everything to get a final if we're not gonna approve it.
Sure.
But if we're gonna follow what the ordinance says, it specifically spells out it can't be considered complete until we have the final, and the complete status is what moves that into that review cycle. So maybe we need to update our ordinance just to accommodate them, but also safeguard us so that we're not moving into that and then have an issue down the road where they can come back and say, hey, you told us this and your ordinance says this, but now you're doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could update it for sure. I'm not exactly sure what that looked like, but we could propose a discussion on how to update it and make it work. It's tricky because those are different parties, because in some ways, it would be nice if the different utility providers would change their process to match our process.
Yeah.
But so because it's circular in nature, like that's what I remember now when we ran into it. Taylor West Weaver Water specifically, in working with our attorney, they refused to issue one until we give an approval. Does that make sense? So like, just nonsensical.
Yeah.
There was no way to so it's like, well, where's your guys' final from planning? Well, we're not giving one until you get the final. It just got it.
Until you do it.
And it just got it.
We could be entities and just explain, now we're being run by this new legislation, so.
Yeah, well, I held a meeting. Yeah, we can keep working on it, but yeah, I understand the inconsistency, so, yeah, we can work on it and see how we can update it. And make it work. I think we can work through it. It's just gonna have things that we have to work through. Other than that, on this one, those are kind of the things, those are some good thoughts, so I'll make sure I work with Matt to make sure the road requirements are met.
Yeah, can
And
you
if they're
pull up
not,
that,
that we
pull up their plat again?
go to the city council. Oh, sure.
Not on the GeoGizmo, the actual
Oh, you wanna see their
the
plat?
blueprint, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Fair point.
it's 6:57.
Do we wanna do anything on the flag lots real quick, or just review it in our meeting?
I threw it for some discussion time in the meeting, because I figured there wouldn't be, so we can talk about it briefly, it won't be much. I did, like I guess I'll pull that up, Josh, right before you get in, but I did real quick, want to give you guys a quick update. One, like Amanda said, on our next planning commission meeting, we're gonna have the TRC checklist that we need to create. That's kind of been a little bit of the issue with inconsistency is we need a checklist, you know, these items are all in and specifically what they are, and I think that'll kind of help solidify the ordinance, and so the developers know once these are in and compliant, and while we look at that, we could revisit some of the inconsistencies with our new ordinance and the actual, you know, reality of what we're seeing. So this will be on our next meeting, so just kind of I'll send you guys maybe some templates of some other cities, and also that Hanson that did ours, they gave us a template. So we won't be starting from zero. And lastly with that, so we need the RTRC checklist. And, oh, I wanted to give you guys a quick update. Related to the flag lots. When we talked about the flag lots, we also talked about oversized structures. That got a little more traction with the planning commission initially, so that was one we ran with first. We're just revisiting flag lots to see if you guys would like to create an ordinance for that for recommendation. But the city council has kind of reviewed it twice now, gave some comments. I think we're doing a final ordinance, and Darren Darren's gonna draft that for us. So once he drafts it, they should vote on it.
That's
for
oversized structures.
Yeah, what it accomplished, just so you guys kind of know where your recommendation went. It'll increase the allowed accessory structure size to the size you guys recommended. It increases the detached accessory dwelling unit size to 50% of those. They didn't allow it to grow with the CUP though, it's just capped. So even if you gave a CUP, you can't grow it.
I didn't think that's-
Allow one DADU and one IDU per primary dwelling, which is what you guys have said. Allow the ADU to reach center of primary residence. They wanted to do that. So instead of being behind the rear yard, it can go to the center of the residence, can't go to the parallel. So you have like a 20-foot width of the home, it can go 10 foot up. That makes sense, you know.
What do you mean?
Like if you had a home on the lot and here's your lot. And you have your home right here. It used to be that it had to be behind the furthest rear point of the home. Now it can go, we'll take the measurement here, so if it's 20 foot, it can go to the center. So your ADU can come up halfway up your home. We're talking, it'll be set, it'll be behind the home still, and it'll still have to meet setbacks, so it'll probably be hard for a lot of people to squeeze in, but if you had a big side yard, you could bring it up halfway to your home, as long as it's behind the halfway point. So that was what they wanted to do.
we're at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, lastly, required 2 parking spaces for DAU, required 2 parking spaces for the primary, made the violation daily, and they made it so all ADUs can be 960 square feet. Minimum, or maximum, 960 maximum. Because when we made it, we didn't address R3 and R4, we increased the size.
Okay.
So in R3 and R4, instead of being 50% of what their max is, which would have put them at like 500, they can get the 960 still.
That makes sense.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.